All right. I'm gonna I'm gonna first off apologize because either A, there was a video that came out this morning that wasn't supposed to come out, or B, a video just didn't come out this morning, and that's why you're listening to this right now. Okay, so first off, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This isn't actually DSP News. This is actually the first project from, what are you guys calling this? Cute Pup in the Sharp Suit Productions. You know how we got all these zany names around here. So this is going to be essentially two members of the crew here basically putting a project together that I had already compiled clips for, or at least told them where to find most of it if I didn't already have it, and they're just going to bring it together for you guys. So that's what you guys are getting today. Now, if today is, if this video goes out like it's supposed to, today is February 26th of 2021, the year of Greece. You guys would probably be expecting the first broadcast for February. That actually isn't going to happen, but let me explain why very briefly, and then I can get you guys into it. First off, we're all very, very thankful and very appreciative of how you guys have supported essentially what's been going on for the last month or so, as it pertains to the Snort report and what are we doing to catch up. We saw some of your feedback, not all of it, but we saw some of your feedback as in how you guys wanted to see the series move forward, and what were, how do you guys thought about the format, and then some other suggestions that you guys may believe that would help the production and the broadcast get better as time goes on. So that's also a thing that we're taking in, and we're kind of sifting through and seeing what's what. So we're going to just stick with the long format from here on out. We'll more than likely we'll always be anywhere from from a week to 3 weeks behind what's currently going on, but people like the longer formatted videos, so we'll just go with that. It works out, to be honest. and it kind of gives myself and other members of the team here to kind of diversify and kind of really just run around and do our own thing and so on and so forth. But as I guess with anything that's good, there's going to be a bit of a drawback, if you will. It's not negative, but I think it's understandable, and I think everybody will benefit from it in the long run. After the last broadcast of each and every month that comes out, there'll be a week hiatus, a 1 week hiatus, a break, if you will, just so everybody can kind of just recharge and reset. Now, the following week, everything should go back up as usual. So let me give you an example. The last broadcast was on the 24th, which would have been a Wednesday. There may be a video. There may be one follow-up video after that last broadcast, just to let you guys know what's going on, and then we won't see you guys for a week. The following week, we'll be right back at it. So March 8th, I think that's a Monday. If my calculations are correct, they're probably not. But if March 8th is a Monday, we should be right back at it. That should theoretically be 1 week. And we'll just pick up right where we left off. Like I said, should be 3 videos a week at a 5-video format. And there we go. And it makes it easier for everybody. Now, if I'm able to backlog or bank up a couple of videos that are off topic, or if you will, or just focus on one particular topic that's kind of somewhat relevant at that time, then maybe that's what will happen. That'll get thrown up, or maybe a video like this will go up, and so it just gives everybody a bit of a reprieve. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the situation is. So I'm kind of throwing this in here because the video, I actually had a video that was going to go up. It was going to go over Phil's talking about I think about how the tractors are lol cows and whatever the case may be, and the file got corrupted. It's nobody's fault. It is what it is, and so we've been already kind of working on this and so on and so forth. So they were like, hey, could you voice something over and send it to us, and then we can get this up. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what the situation is moving forward. Yet again, I very much appreciate it. Everybody who has, watched the videos, commented, shot us emails and stuff like that. Very much appreciate it. As the thing with Twitter, the account's still there. If we can't get the nonsense worked out, we'll figure out something. It is what it is, but we'll figure out something. So it is what it is. So just to keep you guys updated on that for the few that care. That's it, to be honest. But as it pertains to what you guys are about to watch now, you're not going to actually hear me talk about it. It's a basically a combination of videos that stem from, let's see here. I have to look at the notes on my phone because I'm professional. This essentially will go from, I guess, January 9th of 2015 all the way up to the 7 years of Slander, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the 7 years of Slander, which was 2019, if I remember correctly. I think it's made up of like 5 or 6 videos over the last couple years that talked about Project 7 and Patreon a little bit. Now, there'll be something more extensive on Patreon later on down the line. But I just thought this would be a good look, because to give you guys the premise, basically during the 7 years of Slander video, he says that Patreon was, Project 7 was only supposed to be a trailer. It was never meant to be a series. He never said it was going to be a series. It was going to be a trailer. And I had said when I went over that video that was bullshit and whatnot. And usually when I say it's bullshit, usually I'm working on something to hopefully prove that. Even though all of us have seen clips or so on and so forth. So this right here should go to Patreon's exception, when Patreon first started, its inception, if you will, all the way up to the Slander, his Slander video talking about it. Like I said, it's made up about 5 or 6 different videos. There should be little like indication cards or whatever that'll come up that'll tell you what video it's from and the year and everything, so you guys have that. So that's what the situation is. This is more than likely going to go out late. Yet again, we all apologize for that. Things happen, but this just gives me a chance to keep you guys all in the loop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope you guys are doing well. Please enjoy your weekend and whatnot, and just be safe out there, you know what I'm saying? And I'll see you guys, you know, I guess in roughly like 10 days or some silly shit. Something along those lines. But like I said, take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll see you guys when we see you. Later. Cute Pup and a Sharp Suit Productions, that's what we called it, in conjunction with GTG Network and Productions, right? All right, well, that works out.
Let's see here. Okay. Let's get into more recent stuff, shall we? Let's get into all the crap that people are saying, you know, recently about things such as, oh, hold on a second. Oh, forget that. Never mind. Never mind. That wasn't interesting. Now, I thought it was something interesting to come in. There was nothing interesting at all. All right, let's talk about recently. I mean, anyone who's been watching my stuff in the last 2 years knows that I'm financially not a very good situation. You know, every time that it looks like I'm getting ahead somehow, sadly, I get screwed, all right? First, it was the YouTube adpocalypse in early 2017 when YouTube ad revenue fell completely through because a bunch of advertisers left. So I changed myself up from being a full-time YouTuber to a full-time streamer. And I started to recover. Things were actually getting good. Then I get a message from the Washington State Department of Revenue that I was supposed to be paying state business taxes ever since I moved here in 2014, and I had them for 3 years. Oh, guess what? My accountant at the time screwed everything up and never did it right. So because of that, I owed thousands upon thousands of dollars of back state taxes that I never paid. It wasn't my fault. It was because the asshole who I was paying and trusting to do my taxes wasn't doing them right. So we get past that, and then the next thing is YouTube. Well, first of all, you know, losing a partnership that I had with Curse on YouTube. Then losing monetization on my YouTube channel, DSPGaming, which I didn't do anything. It was a Google Plus error. You know what I mean? It's like thing after thing after fucking thing. Every time that it looks like finally everything's in the clear, I can get ahead, something else would rear its ugly fucking head. But in particular, these last couple of years, there's been 2 things that have really been hurting me. One is those back state taxes. that I owed thousands upon thousands of dollars out of nowhere. I didn't have the money for them. And the other is right now my federal taxes, which I couldn't pay this last year, and I'm going on a payment plan in order to try to make up for it, okay? Now, I don't have anyone to appeal to. I don't have an extensively huge family who's made of money who I can ask for stuff. So for me, I'm really just, I'm dependent on trying to figure shit out for myself. And I share this stuff with you guys. And I have to say, you guys have been so insanely supportive. Seriously, insanely supportive and just insanely cool about it. And helped me out so many times over the years with this shit that's happened. And I don't like sharing that kind of stuff with you because when you come to my streams, you're here to hang out and have fun. You're not here to hear this kind of shit, right? You don't want to hear about my financial woes and stuff. But being very honest with all of you, if it hadn't been for your support over and over, I wouldn't even be here anymore. I would have lost this house by now. I wouldn't even be able to do this for a job. I probably would have had to declare bankruptcy and go get like a part-time job or 2-3 part-time jobs, you know, and give all this up. So thank you for that, all right? But some of the biggest misconceptions about this is that when I ask for help, that I go and I blow money on stuff, and that's not the case at all. Everything that I've ever asked you guys for has gone exactly towards what I've said it was going to be. All right. So the first time around, we got to talk about this one because this one goes years back too. Phil stole fan donations that went towards a Project 7 reboot. Phil stole fan donations that went towards a Project 7 reboot. Every statement in that is false. All right. Besides maybe my name. Stole. I didn't steal anything. What they're talking about is a Patreon goal level that was hit for 1 month in the summer of like 2015. Maybe it was 2016, but I'm almost positive it was as far back as 2015. Not stole. It was raised legitimately via a Patreon goal level. All right. Fan donations. They weren't fan donations. They were Patreon contributions. That's different. That went towards a Project 7 reboot. Wrong. It wasn't for a Project 7 reboot. It was for me to take some time out that month to do a Project 7 reboot trailer. A trailer that was probably going to be 30 seconds long. Okay? So for years I've been slandered being told that you stole money from your viewers for a Project 7 reboot, and none of that statement is true at all. What really happened was, when I used to do Patreon more heavily, because I was more heavily into YouTube videos rather than streaming, I would have these goal levels set on Patreon. And so it would be like, if we raise $200-something this month, I'll do this. If we raise $500 this month, I'll do this. If we raise $850, I'll do this. And one of the goal levels that month was, I would take time away from doing gameplay for a while, probably maybe, 2-3 nights a week, to work on this Project 7 reboot trailer. And, excuse me, sorry about that, indigestion. If I remember correctly, it was like a tier 3 goal, so we had already hit 2 goals below it. So it was probably something like, and I have no idea if this is actually what it was at this point, so please don't take this as a fact. I'm going to estimate it was like, the goal was from $450 to $800. So if we raised those $350 extra dollars, I would make the trailer. So essentially what you're saying is, $350 raised to pay for my time that I'm not going to be making videos, to make up for those lost videos, because I raised it via Patreon. I'm going to work on a Project 7 trailer, okay? So essentially, that's what was supposed to happen. It didn't happen, and the reason it didn't happen is because 2 reasons. Number one, because that summer, there was a lot of other stuff going on, and people actually knew there was a very busy gaming season coming up that fall with lots of hot new releases they wanted to see me play. But during the summer, there were other games that had been coming out that people wanted to see me play and complete before the fall season hit. And I actually publicly asked my viewers, do you guys want to see the Project 7 trailer that, from Patreon, or you would rather see me do all this other stuff? And publicly, the consensus was, do the other stuff. We don't really care about the Project 7 trailer. All right, back then I used to struggle because every month I was struggling. I need 2-3 goals for Patreon. I would just pull shit out of my ass that sometimes people didn't really care about. And honestly, that Project 7 trailer was really one of them. In fact, I will be very honest with all of you. Okay? I'll be very honest with all of you. Out of all the people that were big adamant fans of mine back then, there was one guy who was very upset with me. One guy was so upset with me, he said, I'm not going to watch your content anymore. You told us you were making a Project 7 trailer, and you didn't do it, and therefore, I'm not going to watch you ever again. I know who he is to this day. All right? And that actually hurt me, because I was like, man, I let people down. There was someone who actually really cared about this trailer, and I let him down because he really wanted to see it. But outside of that, no one else cared. All right? Now, what I didn't just say, oh, here's $350 extra. Let me just pocket that. No, what I actually did is the next month on Patreon, I lowered all the Patreon goals by $350. I said, instead of having a tier 1 goal at $250, we're just going to do a special goal just to start. And then the next goal will be like $150. The next goal is $400. So I lowered everything by $300 to $350. Again, these are not correct numbers. These are numbers I'm pulling out of my butt. I'm just giving you an example, okay? So that it would be fair for the next month. People were still getting fun stuff. Now, of course, you're absolutely right. I didn't make the trailer. I 100% will tell you I didn't make the Project 7 trailer. I never made it. But it was because my viewers at the time were telling me not to. That it was a bad goal. I should have never done it. I should have been doing other stuff. That's what they wanted to see me do. So I did what my viewership told me to do. And to this day, people still tell me I stole money and didn't do Project 7 again, even though none of that was promised. It was for a 30-second trailer. No money was stolen. And I actually gave it back kind of the next month via lowering all the goals. Now, the other thing is, all right, the other thing is that some people said, why didn't I just refund all the money? You can't. The reason being was there's no way to tell who pledged on Patreon just to see Project 7. It's not like a crowdfunded, it's not like a GoFundMe. You know, when you go to a Kickstarter and you want to finance a campaign, oh, I paid you $5 because I want to see you make a video game, right? That's not how it is. People give me Patreon money because just in general, some people just like the content I put out. Some people are actually directly pledging to get a perk level, a reward level. Some people want a goal to be hit. So they're all pledging for different reasons. You can't specifically say, okay, well, I had 1,000 people who pledged to my Patreon this month. Gee, I wonder how many actually pledged just to see the Project 7 reboot. How do I refund them specifically their money? You can't. It's impossible. It's just a stupid thing that kids would suggest is like, oh, see, Phil didn't refund any money, therefore that's why he stole the money. You can't refund the money, dumbass, but that's the thing. They'll say that stupid shit just to make me look bad, okay? So the whole Project 7 thing was complete nonsense, all right? But what I'm going to do in 2015 is mix stuff up, all right? And I'm going to try to do more creative projects. Like I said, the return of Project 7. New vlog series that I haven't done before, but I've been dying to do. But to do that, I need your help. And that's why I'm adopting Patreon, all right? And you might say to yourself, what is Patreon? How does it work? I've heard that Patreon is just donations. Well, yeah, let's face it. Any money you give to anyone is a donation unless you're getting a physical product or some kind of a contract to exclusive access to something. It's all donations. The Twitch sub program, right, that I was in for 1.5 years, that was technically donations. You got something out of it, so I like to talk about it and describe it as a contract between you and me, where you give me a couple bucks a month, and I give you exclusive stream chat access and emotes for the stream chat. That was the agreement that we had. Patreon's going to be more of the same, where what I want to do is give you the opportunity for as little as $1 a month to be a contributor to this, to be a patron of my creative talents and whatever you want to call the videos that I put out there. The Patreon is a play on the word patron, patron of the arts, which means you're a fan of someone, you respect the quality or the entertainment value of what someone can put out there, and you want to financially try to help them out so that they have the freedom to do whatever they want and be more creative rather than worry about bills. That's essentially what the core of the whole program is supposed to be. All right? So Patreon, I'm going to create a Patreon page. I'm in the midst of doing it. I'm working with Patreon to get a certain page with my name on it and everything sorted out. And the way it's going to work is that I am going to, for as little as $1 a month, you can join this program. And you're going to get perks. Now, the question is, what are the perks that people would want, right? And I want you guys to understand something because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about the whole Patreon program, okay? All right. So let's talk, right? Patreon is not Kickstarter. I have to say that again because so many people have this misconception about it. Patreon is not Kickstarter. When you give someone something through Patreon, when you become a patron of someone and you give them a financial amount on a monthly basis, you're not doing that and saying, okay, well, in 6 months' time, you're going to deliver to me a product. And if you don't, now we have a legal issue because you promised me a product that you were developing, and that was basically supposed to be the startup funds for that. That's not what Patreon is. Now, I'm not saying that people might not use Patreon like that, but that's not what the business is. The business model is this. You give money to the person uses that money supposedly to keep afloat, to keep doing what they're doing full time, and or supplement whatever income they have. In my case, I have income already from YouTube. It's just not as much as it used to be, and I need to stay afloat to do more creative things with you guys, right? Rather than just gameplay, which isn't cutting it anymore. So you're going to get stuff for it, but it's not, oh, I promise you in 6 months you will get this series or you will get this thing. That's not how Patreon works. That's not what people, I think so many people have that Kickstarter mindset. They don't understand that, all right? What it does mean is that I am very appreciative of the fact that you guys not only enjoy my content, but you want to see me continue to do new creative stuff in the future and still do gameplay in the long run. And you want to help out a little bit with my efforts to do that. And I have to worry about views all day. So what I want to do is give you back something for that. The question is, what is it that you want? And I want you guys to understand something. This underlying philosophy that I've had since day one, and I want you guys to understand this. I don't want any of my content to have some kind of a permanent paywall behind it. So what I mean by that is, just because someone's a Patreon of me, I don't want them to be the only person who can see me play a certain game. I don't want them to be the only people who can have access to something, all right? I don't think that's fair. I think that everyone, whether or not you can afford to donate to someone or not, should still get that content for free, all right? I do. As long as I can still make ad revenue on YouTube to supplement, I think that everyone should still get the content for free. Now, an idea that's been thrown around by people who I've asked about this is, why don't you time lock some footage? So, for example, I just mentioned 1 million times in this podcast alone about Project 7, and I said I want to bring back Project 7, creative thing. It's going to be way different from other stuff that I've done, yada, yada, yada. So, why don't, if, for example, this is just an idea, I'm not saying that I'm doing this definitely, but this is a big idea that I'm leaning towards. If you become a Patreon of mine, okay, regardless if it's $1 a month or how much ever you pay a month, doesn't matter to me, all right? I think that everyone should be held in equal regard, and I think that if you are going to, that's another thing, if you are going to donate money to anyone, you shouldn't say, because I donated 100, I get more than the guy who donated $1. Well, no, then you missed the point. The point was you care enough about the person, and you're grateful enough that they've been giving you free content for so long that you want to help them out to continue to do it, not that you're trying to get something out of it. This isn't Kickstarter, okay? So, regardless of how much that you do pay, maybe you'll get advanced access. Or maybe I do episode 1 of Project 7, I release it only to Patreons, right? The Patreons get a day to look at it, and they all give me their feedback, and based off their feedback, maybe I tweak something a little bit here, maybe they noticed an audio jump or a bug here or there that I can streamline, and then I refine it, and then 2 days later, boom, now the real final edition goes public to everyone, right? All right, so this is the conversation I want to start tonight. Whether it's on the comments of this video, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on the forums, which we're going to walk through later. I'm going to show you the new forums, and I'm going to show you where you can contribute and talk about these things. I need your feedback, because I need honest feedback. I want glaringly honest feedback. Now, one thing I do want to say, and I already explained this on the forums, I'm going to say it again. This is not a conversation of should Phil do Patreon. I'm doing Patreon. There's no way around not doing Patreon, because I had a big decline in views on gameplay videos. If anything, if you actually look at my video content this past year, my vlog videos are up. The videos that I do on my vlogging channel actually have more views now than they did a year ago. I'm getting more viewership and better, more subs and all that on that channel. It's the gameplay that's now getting played out, and I need to start mixing it up. So there's no way that I'm not, I have to stay afloat, to pay my bills, I have to do this. It's not something that I ever wanted to do, and that's another misconception, is that people said, well, Phil, for years, you said to people, oh, well, how dare you, talk down to people who maybe take donations, or how maybe you possibly have issues with people who, who do streams and gameplay where there are donations that are involved. Because, there's people who need to do that in order to stay afloat. And I understand that. I completely understand that, utterly, 100%, all right? I've been lucky. I've been the exception to the rule, guys. I really have. In a lot of ways, I've been the exception to the rule when it comes to being a YouTuber and doing this kind of stuff. I have been incredibly lucky to be able to be the kind of person where I am able to do this ongoing. I am able to do this as a job, right? And for years, all these years, since 2011 to now, I've never had a concern about money or finances or anything like that. I've been able to just consistently do what I'm doing and not worry about it, ever. It's always been like fluidity in what I'm doing. This is the first road bump that I've had, okay? And in previous years, you might have heard me say, well, people who are begging for donations or whatever, maybe they're being dishonest. And I've said things about people who are, live streaming on Twitch. Here's the bottom line. I'll tell you the honest answer because I already answered this for everyone. I think everyone kind of understands what I'm talking about if you listen to it in the right frame of reference. So let me explain. What I was saying, which people don't hear, they only hear what they want to hear, right, is that I don't support someone who's making a ridiculously great living, right, or they're able to support what they want to do ongoing on a daily basis, but then they take donations too. You know what I mean? Or someone who their whole point of what they do is to make money or to do donations. I am 1,000,000% against people who go on a live stream and all they literally do is they sit there and they pretend like they're there to play a game, but every 5 seconds a noise plays or a name pops up. Wow, thanks to this person who donated, and thanks to that person who donated, and thanks to this, and thanks to that. And you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's that, for me, if I'm going to do gameplay footage for you guys, I want it to be unadulterated, I want it to be real, and I want it to be not some kind of hyper-edited, faked stuff, staged stuff, or stuff that's constantly interrupted every few seconds, right? So that it becomes just a donation drive. And really, it disgusted me being on Twitch, where I knew this was a website where there were people daily, I'm not talking a couple people, hundreds of people, if not more, who made their entire living doing e-begging. The whole point of their stream was to sit there and say, please donate, please, do my Patreon, please send me money. And every 5 seconds, there's noises about people sending the money. That's not what my content is about, and I want you guys to understand that even though I am adopting Patreon, that's not what this is going to become. This is not going to become an issue where I'm basically, going to be doing things such as just, wow, we're just going to be talking about money nonstop, right? No. And yeah, from time to time, once this is in effect, you will hear me mentioning Patreon, but it's not going to be, wow, Patreon, every time, Patreon. No. How often have you ever, in the years that I've ever done content on YouTube, have you ever heard me say, please subscribe, please thumbs up this video, please donate money? How often have you ever heard me say that, right? I don't want me to change and become like that. I know there are people that's all they're about. That's not really what I want that to be about, okay? So even though I will be, accepting stuff and I will be talking about Patreon from time to time, I don't want you guys to think that my content's going to completely change. Now, some people have completely lied, all right? And I know that there are, the second that I even mentioned doing Patreon ever, people completely lied and said, but Phil said that he would never accept donations, and he's completely dishonest of him. It's completely, counterproductive to what he used to say, and it's completely hypocritical for him to do Patreon, all right? Wrong. Because people love to put words in my mouth rather than actually listen to the message that I'm saying, or they take one instance of when I said something as the overall Bible truth of everything rather than listening to what I'm saying, all right? Overall, if I were able to continue to make a living the way that I've been doing for the past several years and not have any issue paying all the bills and not have any issue, having to worry about views, and if if I was able to do that and people were okay with just gameplay, which obviously they're not anymore, I would continue going on the way that I've been doing since day one. It's not that situation anymore. Reality has changed. The world has changed. It's a completely different kind of gameplay world out there, quite honestly. It really is. It's different. It's a different atmosphere on YouTube. There's way more competition. There's way more going on. It's not back when I started, and I completely understand that, all right? In 2011, when I started making money with Machinima, and it was a lot of money, and I was like, wow, it makes sense that, it makes sense that I'm making a lot of money doing this. Why would I accept donations? I closed off my PayPal donation link completely, 100%. I closed it off, and I said, I will not accept donations anymore because I'm making so much money at this point that there's no way that I would accept them, right? It doesn't make sense to me. It would be immoral Again, it would be like Beyonce, and in no way was I making Beyonce numbers, but I was making some pretty decent money, and saying, oh, I'm going to now take donations when I'm making a good living as well would be dishonest, all right? I have not accepted a single monetary donation since that time. So here we are, fast forward 4 years later, we're now finally in a situation that's a little bit different, all right? And now, okay, I need your help if you want to see me continue to do what I do on a daily basis and even mix it up and do more creative stuff for you. It's a different situation. It's not black and white. People love to say the world is black and white. It's all about black and white, right? It's either you do or you don't. No, it's never been like that. And people, once you grow up and you get more mature, you start to understand that. You realize, oh man, the world is not black and white. There's many, many variable shades of gray. And some people will basically, excuse me, some people will say, okay, that's all right, that's acceptable, because we understand, because we're humans. And other people, they will only see this black and white, right? Am I 100% against people taking donations? No. Am I against people making their entire reason for putting out a stream or doing content getting money? Yes. Am I 100% against people who are making tons of money, asking for more, basically double dipping? Yes, I'm against that. This is not the situation for me right now. I've seen people say, well, Phil, so what you're basically saying is you want more money to do the same thing you've done all these years. No. I just said I don't want to continue to just do gameplay. I want to be in a situation where I can be more creative and do better things for you guys, do more edited videos. If anything, the year-end videos that I've put out so far have gotten tremendous positive response. The problem is I can't focus in and put that much time into doing those kind of videos because I'm so busy worrying about money, 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 views, 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 right? And I need to remedy that somehow. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. Today is Thursday, February 19th, 2015. I'm Darkside Phil, but most of you know me as Phil Burnell. Little old homebody from Connecticut, right? The guy who's been around for quite some time making videos for you since 2008 on YouTube. And a very important day today, all right? So without further ado, without jumping into it, let's talk a little bit, okay? Here I am, broadcasting to you guys live and, of course, recording out of my new office in Washington. Also, I say new, even though I've been doing this for 8 months, right? And, boy, let me tell you guys something. Before we even start talking about the subject of this video, which is the launch of my Patreon, the fact that some content is going to be changing, that there's going to be some awesome new ways for you to participate, and interactivity, and all kinds of stuff coming up, positive stuff. What I want to do before we even talk about that, and it's crazy because there are people who've now moved on YouTube, right? And it's business now. It's not just about the individual on YouTube anymore. Now it's the business. The person who comes in with the professional lighting and the professional effects, and they come in and they sit there editing videos for hours on end, and it looks everything's gone professional and commercial on YouTube. It's very rare to see someone who isn't at that production level still be able to make it big or even establish a business for themselves, because that's what happened. YouTube started out as you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of necessarily expertise, but maybe you have talent or entertainment value, and this is a way for you to get exposed to the masses, right? How many people got their start on YouTube and then went on to bigger and better things? But the core of what YouTube is different now. Now it's like, well, since there's money in it, now everything changes, right? And me, the gamer, right, who started in 2008 with that camera aimed sideways at the TV, me kind of almost maintaining that style of entertainment for so long, eventually it hits the point where you realize things have to change. Whether it was in 2013 when I said, there's no way I could use a camera anymore to do this. I have to go direct capture. You know what I mean? I have to. There's no way that I could have this work without doing direct capture. That's insane. And then say, well, I have to start live streaming, because everyone's live streaming. Anyone is live streaming. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line, is that's the thing, is it's the hype, it's the new technological interaction with people on the internet. You got to do it, right? And now it's like raw gameplay, right? Raw gameplay, at this point, most people look down on it. The masses who loved what I did in 2008 through 2012 and loved that Raw gameplay. It's done. It's blasé now. It's past. It's old news. It's old business. It's, you know, there are still people who like that, and don't get me wrong, I know that there are thousands of people out there who love to watch me play games in the style of Raw commentary, Raw gameplay, but I know that the fact that that's not what's popular anymore, and if I'm going to succeed, if I'm going to continue to have a business that is successful, I need to adapt and change. And so when I moved across the country, that was the first step, because I knew I could not do anything that I ever wanted to do in Connecticut. Too expensive, taxes out the ass, not enough space to even have an office. Everything there was so effing bootleg, I had to get the hell out of there. I just knew it. It had to happen. So then that happened, and I came here to Washington, and I say, you know, what's the next logical step? And I started thinking, and I got feedback from everyone. And when you see the, you know, the following dwindle because people are like, you know, it's nice, Phil, but, you know, thanks for everything, but we don't want to just see the same old thing anymore. We've moved on. There's other people who now do, you know, way higher produced things that cut out the dead time in a playthrough. They have crazy fun edited highlights. They have all this fun stuff, and you can just watch it quickly rather than have to sit through an 8-hour playthrough of every game. You know, we'd rather have that. And that's it. And when I hear that, collectively, I know it's time to change. I know that there's things that have to change, right? But at the same time, there has to be a combination. It can't be an overnight thing. It can't be a drop everything, everyone. I stop playing games completely. I'm going to try to reorganize my business. It doesn't happen. If I were multiple people, if I had a 20-man team and we've been making crazy money for 5-6 years and it was all saved up, yeah, then maybe we could totally overnight change our business. That's not realistic. Like I said, I'm a one-man team. I've always done everything myself, relied on myself, and paying off all my debts of the past, my previous life. I even say my previous life before YouTube, because it was such a different life before I ever uploaded a video to YouTube. And then moving out here and having this, it's different, right? And I just can't. I have to have an adjustment period and a time where if I'm going to change and improve my content and react directly to the recommendations of my viewer base, I need to be tit for tat. I need your help as well, okay? And primarily that's what we're here tonight to talk about, is the fact that if I'm going to make big changes to the kind of stuff that I put out for you on a daily basis, that we need to have some kind of an adjustment period, and I need your help. I can't financially stop playing games. I can't financially say, I'm not going to play this popular release because I want to do a highly edited montage of it. Or I'm going to just do the montage and no gameplay. You know what I mean? I can't. My business model is based off of putting videos out every day, getting views on those videos so I can pay my bills. And I almost feel, I'll be honest with you guys, because you know I'm a very honest person, I feel trapped at times where it's like, you know, there's pressure. I have to every day be on stream, play the games, upload the videos. And there's times when I would like to take time off and think about creative projects that I would like to do or work more on those projects, and I feel like I can't. I feel, especially during that hardcore gaming season, that end of the year time every year, I feel like I'm a prisoner. I must play every game because that's the time when I'm going to get the views and I'm going to make my business really successful. And after doing that every single year, okay, for how many years now? After last year, after looking at the hardcore gaming season, that end of the year time, that was supposed to be my busiest time, and I saw that 2 of those months were almost dead to me when it came to people following me and watching my content, I said, that's it. There's absolutely has to be a change, and I'm going to do it in the year of 2015. And I want to thank you guys for being patient, because I already announced, right, back in November, December, that these changes were coming, and I was willing to do them, but that was going to take a little while for me to get to a point where I could realistically do this stuff, okay? And now we're at that point. Took a little while. I got 2 months of interaction and feedback from you guys. I asked you constantly, whether it was on Twitter, whether it was on my website, TheKingOfHate.com, in comments, in personal messages that people sent me. You guys have been incredibly helpful for the past 2 months in me setting up my Patreon account and creating awesome things that I can give back to you, because you are going to give a little bit of something to me, right? I've decided to set up a Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's 100%, I'll tell you, it's donations. It's an opportunity for you, the viewer, to give back for the years of content that I've given you, but it's not just a way of saying, here, take my money and thank you. It's a way of investing. That's the way I like to see it. It's an investment. If you make the investment in me, I promise you that I'm going to do my damnedest and my best effort to put out quality content, to do better rather than just raw gameplay, to do edited montages, to continue to be dedicated to what I do, right? To try to give some of the best game reviews that are on the internet, and to strive to be better. It's a two-way street. It's not just one way or the other way, right? It's an investment because you like myself as a person, or my content so much that you want to see it continue to be successful, okay? And like I said, it's a big step. I've never accepted donations for over 4 years now, and now that's changing, okay? But I want you to understand something. It's not just a donation. I could easily just give you my PayPal account and say, send me money, send me money. But that's not what it's about. I want to give you guys stuff back that hopefully won't significantly take away from me having the time to do all the cool new stuff that I want to do this year that I promised you, but also gives you something back, okay? So what I've done, based on the feedback of those who care the most, I have set up a series of perks and goals from my Patreon page by which you can get stuff back, and collectively we can reach milestones and we can do fun special events, okay? So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to jump over right now to my PC. We're going to take a look at the Patreon page, okay? And we're going to run through it. I'm going to review all the perks and explain them in detail so you know how they work. I'm going to run through the goals and explain how those work, so there's no misconceptions. A lot of people have a misconception about Patreon that it's like Kickstarter or something like that, when it's really not, okay? It's different, right? This is a perk that I just updated, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, more than likely I'm going to be taking a loss on it for those who actually want to do this, but it's basically the Project 7 t-shirts from 2012. For those of you who have been viewers of mine for a long period of time, you know that back in 2012, I launched a creative series. It was a gaming comedy series, live action, called Project 7, that starred myself and my friends Howard and John Rambo, as well as a few other people, called Respect to the Pact, who were more of the filmmakers and editors of that series. And the series lasted 4 episodes and was very well received. Unfortunately, the series had to end because the team of Respect the Pact wanted to move on to other stuff, and as of today, they don't even do that kind of stuff anymore. It was a little experiment for them. They enjoyed doing it, but they wanted to move on to other stuff. But what happened was, at the time, we didn't know that was going to happen, and we had actually started touring convention circuits, and we made like 100 t-shirts or something like that, okay? And I've got them left over, and they're just sitting here. And I'm like, well, I can't just give them away and mail them out because that's, you know, money out of my pocket. I got to do something with these, but I haven't attended conventions or anything either. So what I've decided to do is make it a pledge level, that if you do pledge $30 or more per month or in a month, you're going to get a Project 7 t-shirt. I've actually listed what I have left right here, okay? We've got both a Deathface and a Project 7 Trio shirt. And don't worry, I will be, for those who hit those levels, I can easily send you pictures of what they look like, all right? And I even have the sizes left there. Now, I'll autograph those shirts for you, or a business card, or even to do a personal message, whatever it is that you guys would like. And the shipping's free. So don't think that, oh man, so I hit that, but now I got to pay, you know, $20 shipping because I live in the UK or something. No, I'll foot the bill for the shipping. And that's why I said, in a lot of cases, since I have 50% of my viewer base is international, I'm probably going to end up losing money on this perk. But I want to get those shirts out there. There's people who literally said, do you still have them? I'd love to have one. This is a way for that to happen. Okay? Now we start heading into the very, very premium levels. This is stuff that I would not expect very many people to go for, but if you ever feel like going for it, it's pretty awesome. And these are also one-time things, meaning, you know, the $20, $10, all these are kind of recurring perks. Once you hit $30 or more, these are one-time things, meaning, no, I'm not going to send you a new t-shirt every month. You know what I mean? The $50 Patreon perk is that if you send me a $50 or more a month pledge, I am going to make you a personal video, roughly anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes in length. It is going to be a vlog-style video. And what I'm going to do is allow you to ask me personal questions and or things that maybe you always wanted answered for Ask the King that never got picked. Basically, think of it as your personal Q&A with me. And that's going to be a video just for you. I'm going to put it up privately on YouTube, give you the link to it so you can watch it. And that is your video. That is basically your time with me. And this is going to be like for the super fans, you know, those who've watched me for years. And, you know, wow, if anything, I could get, you know, Phil, who I've followed on YouTube for a long time, to make me a personalized video. There you go. You're going to get it. In addition to that, these people are going to get a very, very special thank you and a shout out during my podcast and or vlogs, like I said, either Hate Lie or Ask the King, where basically I say, these were the big guys this month. Thank you so much. Okay. That's the $50 and then the $75 or more month. Now, this is kind of like, you know, wow, what an investment. That's a lot of money. $75, you can go buy more than a video game. You can go probably feed yourself for 3 or 4 days. That's a lot. And so that's why I kind of made this like, this is one of the rarest things. I doubt that a lot of people will ever go for this one. But for $75 or more a month, if you desire it, you don't have to do it. If you desire it, I am going to get you involved in some kind of a creative project that I'm doing, notably Project 7, okay, as I state right there, or something else. The reason I say or another creative project is simply because I don't want to promise you something that never comes to fruition. We don't know what the future holds, right? Anything could change at any time. I could break my leg tomorrow and now, you know, I can't do certain things that I wanted to do. Who knows? So the intention here is that for $75 or more a month, you will have a part or a special appearance or whatever in Project 7 when it relaunches later this year. Whether it's you want a webcam doing, you know, a quick thing, you're a character in it quickly, you do some voice acting for it, maybe you're in a picture, whatever you want, basically, I'm willing to do. Of course, keep in mind, I have to write the script, I have to produce the show, I have to do all that first before we get to that point, all right? And so I want you to understand that. That's why I'm saying or another creative project, because if something goes wrong with Project 7, I'll get you in something else, okay? Again, that's a one-time thing. I don't want to have, oh, well, someone donated $75 3 months in a row, so now they're basically half of Project 7. That's not going to happen. You know, we got to be realistic here, okay? But then again, let's be realistic. Do you really think anyone's going to donate $75 in a row 3 months? Probably not, okay? So those are the perks. Those are the personalized ways where if you help me out, I can say thank you. I said this up front. I'll say it again. The way this works is that you get charged the first week of the month. So just because, I almost guarantee, and I don't know because I haven't even looked at the page, I guarantee you that there will be people pledging, but then last minute they decide, I can't do it this month, and they remove their pledge or whatever. We won't actually know what the pledge for a month will be until we hit that day when it gets charged, which will be sometime either like the last day of February or the first week of March, and every month moving forward like that, okay? So just because overnight the thing, it would be hilarious, $15 million Phil made today, right? Just because it says that doesn't mean anyone has to pay. They could all back out at the last minute. So I just want to make that clear to you guys that don't get super excited if it hits $20,000 tonight because there's people on there messing around, and then of course it gets taken away. Once we get that first week of March, that's when we'll concretely see, gee, what is the interest, how did we do, and what events are going to be scheduled, okay? Now I'm excited. I would, if it hits every goal, fuck man, I'll clear my schedule, we'll do it, we'll play Minecraft, we'll be doing games you vote on, we'll be doing that special indie stream, I'm done, I'm ready, I'm committed, I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm down. This is, again, after years and years of me just doing my own thing, now it's time to change things up. And that's why I'm so excited about Patreon. And I hope that you guys are excited like I am too, okay? And I'm ready to get this going. So, I'm committed. I hope that you guys appreciate the fact that I took so long to do it because I wanted to make goals that were reasonable for the normal person who can spend $1. Not the normal person who can't spend $100. They can spend $1, you know, every couple months maybe to try to get a cool perk. And that's what I really tried to do with your help. Again, an incredible amount of thanks to those on the forums who helped me out to hash through these because it took a long time. But I think we've got a great, you know, a great level of mix too of things. And those goals, I think those goals are going to be great. Okay, so what the dilemma is in a moment, but let's get to it. Okay, so I don't know what to do in the next few weeks. Do people want to see me play Everyone's Gone to the Rapture? Do they want to see me play the Dragon Age Inquisition DLC? Would you rather see me play Batman? Would you rather see me play Splatoon? Would you rather see me play Just Cause 2? Or do you just want to see me focus on Fallout New Vegas? What do you really want? Because I only have 2.5 weeks left until Dawn comes out at the end of this month, which we're going to talk about the new release schedule tonight, so we will get to that. And after that, I'm going to be busy the next week with Metal Gear Solid 5 and Mad Max, and that's it. After that, every week there's new releases until the end of the year. So I have no opportunity, really, to do these things unless I do them now, but there's no way. How could I possibly do all these things? You know what I mean? And now, quite honestly, again, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what to do regarding Project 7. So allow me to talk a little bit about it, ladies and gents. My whole intention, right, when I started early this year, I said this year I would really like to take some time to work on Project 7. This is a series that I've wanted to get off the ground, again, since it got canceled in 2012 for the past 2 years. And I always said, I'm going to do it. Last year I was going to do it, but I didn't because I moved across the country. So really the summer was kind of shot for me. And by the time that I got readjusted to working again, it was already the hardcore gaming season. This year I said, this year I'm going to do it. I'm going to work on Project 7. I'm going to get this series going. And now look what's happening during the summer. And I'll be honest, if people were saying to me, coming to me and saying, Phil, we're bored. We don't like your content. You know, we don't want to watch. We'd rather you dropped everything and worked on Project 7. I would say, okay. But that's not the feedback I'm getting. What I'm getting is people want to see me play all these things that are coming out. They want to see me play these episodic releases. They want to see me play these DLCs. They want to see me play these new kind of indie games. They want to see that. So if that's what you want, I can give it to you. But then what's going to happen exactly? Like, what's going to happen with Project 7? That's the question that is at the tip of everyone's tongue, right? So this month in particular, ladies and gents, I've already announced this. I'm going to reiterate it right now. 3 to 4 days this month. Tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, which is August 14th, as well as a week from that, August 21st. Those 3 days, I am not live streaming at all. My goal is to work on offline projects for you, so that I can have some variety of content, and it's not just about me live streaming gameplay every day. So tomorrow, I've actually got a segment for an upcoming Hate Live podcast that's pretty unique, and I'm going to be working on that tomorrow offline. I'm also going to be working on the best and worst of June and July montage for everyone, and yes, I'm going to be working on Project 7. I'm going to be brainstorming ideas on what it would look like to bring it back, to do maybe a kind of a teaser trailer and get some ideas of how to restart that series, okay? In addition, I'm also going to be working on some Patreon stuff tomorrow. My goal is that within the next couple of days that I take off, hopefully I'm not diverted, you know, I have that more focused attention on Project 7. And so by the end of August, what I'd like to do is try to get you maybe a first episode kind of return to Project 7 kind of premise, so you know exactly what the show will be, what it will look like, and what the actual thing will entail. Versus right now, everyone's like, I don't know. Well, Phil, first you said it was going to be you playing some shitty game, and this character Deathface had trapped you at your old condo in Connecticut, but then you never did it. Then 2 years later, you rebooted the series, but it was you being teleported to gaming worlds, and you had all this editing, you know, high quality editing effects and stuff. But then that ended. Now you said this isn't going to be that. What's it going to be? So fair enough. You're actually right. Like, I can't, you know, you don't even know what to expect from what Project 7 will be. I have all these ideas in my head. I need to solidify them. I need to see what is rational for that I can realistically do. Because keep in mind, this time around, it's a one-man show. I'm going back to the way I used to do it from like 2010. This isn't like the 2012 Project 7 where we got these high-quality video filmmakers and editors and everything working on it. No, it's just me. So it's going to be, you know, kind of the stuff I used to do, the little kind of crappy BC movie skits and that kind of stuff integrated in with a little bit of gameplay. But the thing is, I need to get it started. I would love to get maybe 1 to 2 mini episodes, so maybe 10 minutes each, right, of Project 7 that I could get out for you guys around the end of August, so you at least have an idea of what exactly Project 7 is going to be. And maybe then you could say, wow, this is something great and we'd like to see this continue, or you know, we don't really like it that much. Maybe it was a good idea in 2010, but now 2015 it's not. I don't know. I need your feedback on that, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen is I am going to, like I said, at least 3 times, if not 4 times in the month of August, be taking a day off from streaming to work. Hopefully by the end of this month, I have examples for you. Hopefully I'll release the examples, you'll watch them, I'll get feedback on whether I could continue the series or not. Now, there's another factor in here. Something that I'm going to be transparent about, because you know me, I'm transparent. I'm not going to hide anything. One of the things, since I launched my Patreon earlier this year, for a perk level goal, the highest perk level for people who pledge a certain amount of money is that you can actually be a part of Project 7 or another project in the future. So, let's say I do this Project 7, I work on it all this month. By the end of this month, 1 or 2 episodes is out, and people are like, it's not very good. Well, then those people who did pledge that amount have the opportunity to be part of 2 different specials that I'll be doing this year. I've already decided in my head, because I looked at my gaming calendar, which we're going to go through, and this year I am committing to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm committing to it. All right? there will be a Thanksgiving special, and there will be a holiday, meaning like Christmas special this year. Last year, I did nothing for those holidays because I was busy with family and other stuff going on. This year, those dates should be free, and I'm committing to it. I'm going to be doing something special for Thanksgiving and something special for the Christmas season. And so if Project 7 falls through and I work on it all this month and it doesn't come out very well and people aren't pleased with it, then people who did pledge can be a part of those specials, and I'll get them involved, okay? Because I did commit to this. I'm not going to be a jerk and say, well, fuck them. They already took their money. I hate to say it. Some people do that. I mean, how many people criticize people who use Patreon? They promise things and they never come through. I'm at least going to say, no, I'm committing. I'm doing 2 other specials this year, and if you did pledge, yes, you will still be a part of those specials if you wish to be so, okay? So, ladies and gents, that's kind of how I'm approaching it. So here's the deal. I need your feedback on multiple fronts. I need to know, number one, what do you want to see me play this month? Because I can't play everything, right? I just mentioned, off the top of my head, everyone's going to the Rapture, the Dragon Age DLC coming out next week, the Batman DLC coming out in the next couple of weeks, the Splatoon expansion that came out, and people said they wanted to see me replay Splatoon at some point and kind of retest the game and maybe give it a second review so I can give my honest opinion on the game. Or Just Cause 2. So that's 5 things. Out of those 5 things, realistically, how many can I do by the end of the month, by the time that Until Dawn comes out in 2.5 weeks? Probably maybe 2 to 3. So you're going to have to pick and choose. And right now, I'll be honest, my honest opinion, but you just may not be what we go with, I'm thinking Dragon Age Inquisition at this point is kind of dead in the water. I skipped the first DLC, and I really realistically don't know how many people are going to say, we want to see more Dragon Age Inquisition this late after I've played the game. So maybe that doesn't make much sense, okay? At first, I'll be honest, at first I was pretty pumped to play Just Cause 2, but now it's a full game versus maybe me trying to fit in a few DLC contents every week. Maybe it makes more sense for me to try to focus on this game next week. Everyone's going to the Rapture, and whenever the Batman DLC comes out, maybe giving Splatoon another shot and balance that all with Fallout New Vegas and Metroid Prime instead of, I'm going to try a whole new game now. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. More people are saying to try other stuff in the freaking stream chat. These people are absolutely insane. There's no way that I'm going to be doing anything else that I did not mention. That's out of control. So that's the feedback I need. That's number one. The feedback I need is, what do you want to see me play by the end of August? Number two, what should I do about Project 7? And I know you can't give me my opinion, any opinions now, but I'll let you know I'm working on it this month. I'll maybe even give you some teasers and things by the end of the month, and hopefully I'll have something for you by the end of August that I can present, and then give me your honest opinion on it. If it's, okay, we'd like to see you continue, then I'll try to continue, and people are like, well, then, whatever, right? But those patrons who did pledge that level, who wanted to be a part of it, will be a part of my year-end either Thanksgiving or Christmas holiday specials. I'll find a way to fit them in, okay? So there's your transparency, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know what's going on with me over the next month. So now let's talk, well, actually, before we get to that, let's just say very quickly, for the rest of this month, what to expect. I just told you what to expect for the next few weeks. Would help if I unmuted my mic. Hello everyone, Darkside Phil here, and today is Friday, August 14th, 2015, just so you know. Doing this video completely impromptu, was not planning originally to be making this video today, but due to circumstances, due to things that are going on, I kind of wanted to clarify the situation, as well as give you a big kind of, not really a spoiler, but more of a reveal, alright, regarding Project 7, regarding this project, right, that started all the way back in 2010, rebooted in 2012, here we are in 2015, and I'll be honest, I know full well that some of you who are watching this video right now probably have no idea what Project 7 is, and you probably don't care, alright, and I understand that because this is something that started way back when, before I ever even was partnered with Machinima or anything like that, and it's kind of gone through the ringer. It had an original idea of what it was going to be, and then it got rebooted in 2012, and it was something that was a limited run series that ended up getting canceled, and then I had the idea to revive it at one point. And what I want to talk about in this video is a few things. I want to, first of all, let everyone know that I want to kind of talk about Project 7 in regards to what the idea is, what eventually hopefully it will be, okay? And I am going to reveal, right now, I'm going to talk and reveal to you the original idea, the plot line, even some behind-the-scenes stuff you never knew about in regards to this project from stuff that I filmed back in 2010, yeah. And basically, people who have had questions about Project 7 for quite some time, who back in 2010, man, I wonder what the game is, and I wonder what Phil is going to do with this series. It's all going to come out right now. I'm going to tell you everything, all right? And I'm going to do that for multiple reasons. And then I'm going to have an update on the project at the end of the video, okay? So, first of all, let's talk about Project 7. This is an idea that I had back in 2010, and at that point, as you know, I wasn't doing this full-time on YouTube or anything. It wasn't a job or anything like that. It was just a hobby. And every day when I got home from work, I would spend a couple hours filming whatever the hot new game was. Or if there wasn't a hot new game, I would maybe do a game review or a vlog or something like that. And I remember, in particular, at this time of the year, but I always thought in my head, man, one day I would like to revive Project 7. I really would like to do it. Now, of course, time passes, and as you know, I adopted direct capture, I started live streaming, I moved across the country, yada, yada, yada. You know, here we are in 2015, and earlier this year, I was like, man, you know, now I'm settled into my new home, and I have my own office, and I have more rooms, more filming locations to do this kind of stuff, and what I would like to possibly do this year is, again, try to diversify my content, try to do series such as a series about movies, where I talk about movies and stuff like that. I wanted to do a Google or YouTube news series starring Deathface was going to be in it, and he was going to kind of pretend to be like a Google employee, and he was going to joke about stuff at Google. I was talking about doing gaming news and stuff like that, and yes, I wanted to reinvigorate Project 7 from what it originally was. So the plan for Project 7 is to actually play the game that originally I was going to do back in 2010, have that footage, and implement that into the series, use my green screen that I have downstairs now to do green screen shots over the footage to pretend like I'm in the game at times, joking with Deathface and stuff like that, okay? And so, originally, I had planned that during the summer, the months of July and August in particular, I was going to be focused on working on Project 7 because traditionally, summer is slow. Traditionally, summer's really freaking slow. But as we're going to talk about in a moment, things didn't work out as planned. But we're going to get to that. What I want to do right now is I want to tell you my original idea for Project 7. I want to tell you what the game is, and I actually want to tell you a little bit about my experience, because I actually was filming to do Project 7 in 2010, if you can believe it. Even though I just said I only made 3 videos, I actually filmed way more than that. I filmed skits, and I filmed gameplay footage and all kinds of stuff. So here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Big spoiler alert, although people have been asking for this for years, so I'm going to tell you right up front, to skinny on Project 7, all right? So for years, people have been saying, what is the game? What is the game in just Project 7? You know, that Phil's talking about. What is the game that Phil hates, that Phil wants, you know, that Phil doesn't want to play and Deathface is making him play? What could it be? And I even had the infamous bathhouse scene, the infamous cross-dressing scene, all the infamous, ridiculous, silly, Japanese culture hilarity that really doesn't translate well into American culture. All those jokes, I'm all filmed and ready to go. I never did anything with it. And that is disappointing. I know it's disappointing because, think of the potential back then if I had made a series like that on YouTube when I was blowing up on YouTube. If I had made a series where it was gameplay mixed in with skits and comedy, it might have taken off. But for whatever reason, I remember there were other releases coming out, and I wanted to play those, and people were dying to see me play those, and the interest for Project 7 waned and finally died out. And then in 2012, I rebooted it, and it was exciting, and then it died out again because the series had to be canceled. And so now fast forward to 2015, and me saying, wow, maybe this, now I do direct capture, right? So I can actually do high quality playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, which I never did before. And I'm thinking, here in the summer, it's going to be pretty dead. So really, here's what I was estimating was going to happen this year. Around late June, I was thinking, typically after E3, there's nothing going on in games. So late June, what I will do is I'll have it so my second streams will be me working on Project 7. I'll be filming Final Fantasy VII, sessions, like 2-hour sessions of offline gameplay, and hopefully, say late June into mid-July, late July, maybe I'll have gotten through the game and beaten the game, and then I can take August to sit down and write skits, film skits, do these skits, so that I can implement this gameplay footage that I've recorded in June and July and put it into the series, and maybe I can have a couple episodes done for the fall, release it over the fall to get hype for it, and then maybe next year when things die down again in gaming, which undoubtedly they do early in the year, then I could work on it again. As you guys know, that didn't work out at all. What ended up happening this year was this ended up being not only an incredibly busy summer for me because of new releases and other stuff going on, but what it seems to be is that there really won't be downtime anymore. There's now so much going on with gaming between re-releases and episodic releases and DLC releases and indie games, and the fact that now I have really widened my reach with the content that I make for you. It's not just I play the new overhyped games, and if there's new overhyped games, I don't do anything. No. Now I've really reached out, especially with the Patreon stuff. I do montages and I do marathons and stuff like that. My content's different. It's very different than how things used to be in 2010 and even in 2012. I'm a very different person and a different content creator now than I used to be. And even compared to last summer I remember I moved and there was downtime during the move time because there was nothing really coming out. This year didn't happen. We had Batman Arkham Knight that came out in late June because it was delayed. That carried into the whole first half of July, right? Then we had a DLC for it. Then we had little mini releases like Godzilla. And even through this month of August, which so far for the first half of August, there's been no major releases. There's still things that people want me to check out, like the Rare Replay Collection, like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. And even though I intended on having time to work on Project 7, it just haven't worked out. So now let's get to the skinny of things. And again, people get thumbs down the video. Go ahead, thumbs it down. I hope this video has 4,000 thumbs down at this point. I really don't care anymore because the bottom line is I'm an honest person. And I am stressed out right now to my wit's end. I'll be honest. Last night I couldn't even sleep because I'm thinking I got to work on Project 7. I promised the viewers I'd work on Project 7. And we even had Patreon goals based off of Project 7. And I still don't have anything to fucking show for it yet. Yet, there's still a large group of people who are saying, Phil, you should be playing this DLC, and why didn't you go back to Splatoon, and why didn't you do this? You should, I wish I could clone myself. I wish I could clone myself, and I could have one person who does creative things with video, and another person who does gameplay footage, but that's not the case right now, all right? And quite honestly, 2 days now in a row, I wanted to work on Project 7, and I intended on working on Project 7, and it hasn't worked out. And the reason it hasn't worked out is because of various reasons. Last week, Patreon stuff happened. I had to do stuff for patrons, and I had to do the best and worst of June and July montage, which people were asking me for 2 months. Where is it? You didn't do one for June, and it ended up taking up most of the day for me to work on this project. Today, right? I had every intention. I'm going to work on Patreon stuff and then Project 7. What happens? The Street Fighter V beta, which completely failed back in July, launches out of nowhere. They turn it on today for 2 hours. So I was like, well, it's now or never because coming up soon, it's the hardcore gaming season. I'll have no chance to play this, right? There's no chance for me to go back. I have to play the beta now if I'm going to play it. So I jump in and I played it for 2 hours, and I did. I got good footage of it, and people on the stream enjoyed it, so that was great. But you see what's happening. It's like everything's kind of conspiring and saying, Phil, there's no time for Project 7. Don't do Project 7. And right now, I've got no footage recorded whatsoever of Final Fantasy 7 that I can use in the series. And I really, realistically, with the timing right now of everything going on and the things I'm trying to finish and the things that people want me to do, I'm like, I don't think I could put anything together. I don't. And here's the thing. If I do relaunch Project 7, I want it to be good. And what I mean by that is, do I want it to be amazing, high-quality level stuff like the reboot of Project 7 was with respect to pack? No. But I want it to be a quality product. If I'm going to be taking time out from doing my normal work and away from gameplay that you want to see me do, right? I want it to be worth everyone's while. I don't want to whip something together for the sake of, I promised this and I'm obligated to do this, or, I said I would do it, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to whip it together and do it quick, and then it sucks. The thing that really sucks in life is when you have responsibilities. Get it? I don't want to become that person who becomes obligated to do something and therefore puts out shit work. When I'm going to put out something creative, or I'm going to do a project where it's going to take a lot of extra work and editing and things, I want it to be good. I don't want to just go through the motions for the sake of doing it. And don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want to do Project 7. I just don't think that I could do Project 7 right now in the time frame that I have to work on it and put out anything quality for you for numerous reasons. Number one, I don't have a camera. Right now, the camera I'm using is my webcam, and it's great. This webcam is great for in here, but I can't move this webcam around my house to film things, and this webcam has no zoom whatsoever. My old camera over here, my Sony camera, I'll bring it over. This is my Sony camera. This is the camera that I used for the old Project 7. This is the camera that I used for the longest time to film all of my vlogs and stuff. This camera's on its last legs. This camera won't even film anything longer than around 10 minutes. At 10 minutes, the camera just decides, oh well, and it stops recording. It's not a battery issue, it's just the camera's old as fuck. Do you know how many years I used this camera? How many hours a day I was using it? This camera was not built for that much use. And it's dying. So, I don't have a camera. I have this camera. This is a Panasonic camcorder. It's a Handycam camcorder. It's really not very good. It's blurry, the focus is terrible, the color adjustment is terrible. It says it does 1080p, but every video I've ever filmed on it in 1080p looks blurry as hell. So it's not a good camera. This is a good camera for me to very quickly do a vlog moving around the house or on a vacation. This is not a camera that I would want to use for an edited series. The videos will look like shit. And I have been trying to raise money this year to buy a better camera, and it just hasn't turned out. In fact, a couple months I went under the goals that I had tried to put up on on Patreon. And as you know, I've got a lot of debt for moving across the country. I don't have money to throw. I don't have $1,000 I could take to go buy a camera and batteries and everything. I don't have the money. If this were 2-3 years ago when I was living in Connecticut before I moved and I had all this debt, sure, then I had all this disposable income. It's a different situation now. And I just can't. I don't have the resources and the money to get equipment to make a good series that would be Project 7, okay? Number 2, time-wise, right now, if I were to work on Project 7, with even the days, I said that I would take maybe 3 to 4 days in the month of August to work on Project 7. We all know it didn't work out last week because I was working on that montage, which I had promised first. I had to go first because I had been waiting for 2 months to make the July and June montage, and I had patron responsibilities today. Today, again, Street Fighter V out of nowhere. It was maybe this might be the only opportunity for you to ever play it. Of course I'm going to do that today, out of nowhere. And I have more patron responsibilities. Tonight, instead of doing any kind of a gameplay stream, tonight I'm going to be doing patron perks, mailing out t-shirts. I got 1 or 2 private Q&A videos to do. I've got responsibilities to patrons. So, it's not working out. If I were to do Project 7, I would, in 2 more days, so I would have a week from today, which would be the 21st of August, and maybe like the last day of August, the 31st, which is a Monday. Maybe I could cram in sometime then, but do you really think realistically in 2 days, I can write, film, edit, and get something together for you? You know what I mean? With all the stress around me of people saying, Phil, play this game. Phil, you should be playing this. And it seems to me, and I'll be honest with everyone, I'm going to be honest, this is me, and I'm the only real person that can give you this information because I'm the only person who is the focal point of all the feedback that I get. It seems to me that right now, the consensus is, even though people would like to see Project 7 come back, they'd want to see it as a quality product. They don't want to see a rushed piece of crap. And it also seems to me that right now in particular, that we're at the end of the summer. With the limited time I have left before the new releases start coming out, people would rather see me focus on Fallout New Vegas, finishing Metroid Prime, doing an episodic release like Tales from the Borderlands, playing maybe a little bit more of Just Cause 2, but in addition to that, doing what I promised you I was going to do back in May and returning to Splatoon at least for 1 major stream so I could play the new game modes and the weapons and I could give you a kind of follow-up review of what I think about the game 3 months later now that all that free content that they promised had been released. The DLC releases that are coming out, like there is a Batman DLC release, and a lot of people would like to see, is this DLC release even worth playing this month, or is it a piece of crap, right? There's stuff that people want to see me do that I'm not doing. And people are disappointed. Man, I can't believe Phil didn't do that because, he's busy with other stuff. And I'm disappointed that people want to see me do all this stuff now. It seems to flip. Earlier this year, I swear, this is what it seemed to me. Earlier this year in January, it seemed like there was a movement. And people were like, Phil, we like the gameplay you're doing, but we want to see you do other stuff. We want to see you branch out and do better quality reviews with gameplay footage. We want to see you do more edited series, and we want to see you do more montages. And now we're in August, and if you actually look, whenever I do a montage, the views are kind of like falling off. When I started much earlier this year, the montages I was doing were getting 30,000 views, and everyone was hyped to see them. Now it's kind of like, I do one, and it's like, well, Phil did the montage, but when's that playthrough coming out? And that's what it seems to me like. Now the focus has shifted, that people prefer to see me play the games and review the games, and right now that's what people are into. So I kind of got to go with what people want to see me do, right? I'm not going to rush and try to put out a piece of crap Project 7 for you that I don't think would be up to the quality standards that I want to set, just because I said that I would do it when all these circumstances have kind of happened. And almost, like I said, it's almost like the planets aligned and are telling me don't do Project 7 now. And so what I want to tell you in this video, now that I'm sure everyone has thumbed it down, right? It's like 4 million thumbs down. 4 million thumbs down. A few things. Number one, this does not mean that I am never doing Project 7. It just means that as of right now, I'm officially announcing I'm not doing it right now. It doesn't make sense, all right? I will possibly, in the future, if I do have a turnaround and I'm not in this much debt and I can get a better camera and I can work on these things a lot better, I'll work on Project 7. But I would rather put out something that's nicely produced and is a good quality thing rather than a turd, okay? And a rushed turd at that. That's number one. So Project 7 is not going to happen now, but it doesn't mean it's never going to happen. It just means not right now. Number two, what that means is that the days in August that I said I was taking away from streaming are now rescinded. As of today, as you saw, I streamed today, so that was rescinded. Next Friday, the 21st, I'm going to be working. I'm going to be doing 1 to 2 gameplay streams, and it's going to probably be the continuation of what I'm doing, or maybe it might be a good opportunity to say that'll be the day that I return to Splatoon. And I do a big stream of Splatoon, and I do my follow-up on Splatoon, okay? So there will be no more days of August where I'm not streaming. I'm going to be streaming every day daily, whether it's continuing playthroughs or new things that I wasn't going to do. I can now do them, stuff like that. I'm doing now, okay? So I am going to rejuggle the schedule around, and I'll have more information about that for you shortly. Number three, Patreon, because it was kind of tied to Project 7, obviously now is going to change. And I want you to understand that I am very deeply sorry that I was not able to put together a Project 7 product for you. I know that it was a goal for the month of August for me to take all this time off to work on Project 7. And I also know that for patrons who pledged a certain amount of money, it was one of your perk levels that you possibly could be a part of Project 7 or another project. Right now, I'm going to be honest with everyone. At this point, I'm taking the Project 7 thing off the table. So if you did pledge to those perk levels on Patreon, you still can be a part of a project. I've already announced this. I'm doing both a Thanksgiving and a Christmas special this year. And they're going to be different. I think Thanksgiving is going to be more gameplay oriented. Christmas is going to be more of like a holiday special like I used to do, where there may be a skit or something involved in it. And I'm going to try to get people involved in helping me with that. So you have opportunity to be a part of either of those if you did pledge to that highest perk level on a Patreon. So don't think that I'm going to renege on my commitment or anything. No, I said from the get-go it would either be Project 7 or something else. Right now, I'm just telling you officially it's not going to be Project 7 because it's not happening now. The earliest I would even consider working on Project 7 at this point would possibly be next year, okay? Now, I'm going to go one step further. I could easily say that's it and end the video. But no, I feel bad. I genuinely feel bad that Project 7 isn't happening. And so, because I had a goal on my July Patreon that was $1,250, right? That I was going to take time off this month to work on Project 7, which never happened. I never took the time off, right? But there was $250, so the goal below that was $1,000. So there was $250 there that was supposed to be to make up for the days that I wasn't going to work. Well, now I'm working on those days. So I'm not just going to pocket that money like these other people who use Patreon or Kickstarter or whatever, and then they never actually come through with their promises. No, that money is going to now be reduced from my future Patreon. So this month, the month of August, right, I have goals right now on Patreon. And right now, as of the moment you're watching this video, I want to let you know I've reduced those goal levels by $250. So you already gave me the money last month. I didn't come through with Project 7 as promised. So that goal level, that money, is being applied to August now. So the top goal level now for August is not $1,250, it's $1,000. If I can raise $1,000 on Patreon, I'm going to be doing an indie marathon, okay? So that's the way for me to come through and not... I could easily just say I'm a dick and pocket the money like some of these people fucking do, but I can't. I couldn't live with myself. I understand that I want this to be a working relationship where you guys watch my content for free and enjoy it. I get to have a living doing this. You pledge to my Patreon, you get cool perks. I have goal levels and cool events and things that I give back to you, but I also get that money for funding and constant improvement and things, right? So I am not going to just pocket that money. It goes towards now August. So all the August goals have been reduced. That money went from July and got taken away from July and placed towards the August levels, okay? So understand, I apologize. If you are very disappointed, you were dying to see Project 7 right away, I'm disappointed too. You know what? I'm gonna thumbs down this video on YouTube. I'm gonna personally thumbs down my own fucking video because I'm disappointed that shit didn't turn out the way that I'd hoped. But that's life, and you know, we move forward positively. So I want to say thank you to those of you who were interested. If you weren't interested in Project 7, this is certainly good news for you because it means there's going to be at least 2 full more days of content in the month of August, including Splatoon coverage and other stuff, and that I'm going to not be so stressed out and pulled apart and focused on other stuff. I'm going to be focused on the gameplay content that people have been asking for. Okay? So, in summary, Project 7 is something that I think could potentially still be a successful project in the future when I have the means to do it, meaning the right equipment, the right funding, and the time. Now, unfortunately, even though I wanted it to be, is not that time, and I'm making the executive decision to not make Project 7 and produce it now because I don't want to rush out something that I don't feel would be up to the quality standards that you deserve and that I want to put out. I don't want to rush and put out a turd. I want to work on it and put out something good, but I can't do that right now, especially with the very limited amount of time that I have between now and being incredibly busy with new releases coming out in the future months. So I apologize I couldn't come through, but there will be more gameplay footage. I'm listening directly to your feedback, which is why I'm doing this. And like I said, I'm not just taking patron funds and pocketing them. Those who did have the high patron goal level hit, you can be a part of the Thanksgiving or Christmas specials, which I'll be talking about soon. And I'll be giving you information about what those specials will entail so you can decide which one you want to be a part of. If you did pledge to my Patreon in the month of July and, you know, that goal level was $250, that money's being applied to August. So I'm reducing those goals. So again, I'm not pocketing anything. It's all, you know, trying to be kosher and transparent here. I'm very saddened that I couldn't come through for you. But now that I've explained what the project is, you understand the work that it would entail to do what this is going to be. I hope you understand, and I hope that hopefully in the future it works out, and eventually I can do Project 7. So I know people will be upset. Thumbs down the video. Let's get the world record for thumbs down on YouTube, okay? And